Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jay Chains with Meta Money. Hope you are feeling all right today. Hey, if you're not subscribed to the channel, you better do so now. And make sure that you like this video. We got a great interview that we did today with Mahboob. Now, she's the co-founder and president of MBD Financial. We talked all about the project, what they're going to be doing, how they're going to try to make it successful. So enjoy this. And if you got any questions, make sure that you drop them down below. And we do have her contact information at the end of the interview. So if you do have questions and want to reach out to May directly, you can absolutely do that. All right, let's get into it.
So what we are actually creating is a little bit about the project. What we're creating is a completely decentralized business district in the metaverse with banking solutions. What we ran into is our goal is to scale globally and with regulations, not just in the crypto industry, but banking regulations. That's an area we didn't want to early on fight, especially being a startup, or get into specifically because it will hinder scaling process, growth process. So it is a platform where individuals, it's P2P platform. Of course, we will have traditional services such as flash loan protocol. We have high staking APIs. And in addition to that, the business district in itself, when I say, of course, we're building on Unreal Engine. We have some great developers as part of the team. We have the game house from Lucas that worked on Star Wars as well as Fortnite take on our project as well. So in addition to financial solutions, the idea is, of course, businesses are able to be there, but creating a virtual environment where people could actually create their own brands, or it encourages individuals to be able to become entrepreneurs and utilize smart contracts for a more a solution that fits best for them, in addition to providing them the guidance and transitioning over into the metaverse world in Web3. Of course, concurrently, we have a huge focus on financial education as well, because even with an innovation, I feel like we're moving at a very, very fast growth rate within the industry. And we're still, our targeted market, still individuals that understand technology, Web3 and crypto. So our focus instead is to focus on the transition over to the metaverse and to Web3, for starting from small businesses to the typical organizations that want to know, how do I get into the NFT world? How do I get into the metaverse? So what we're creating is, each one of our deliverables is a platform that will launch that ultimately takes you to the business district. So it's a journey, and each is interconnected. So the utilities are interconnected. So first is, we're launching a cross-chain NFT marketplace early June. And the idea is, if you've ever used like Upworks, so if you combine Upworks and Amazon Marketplace, but combine it into one, we're creating a similar with utilities beyond just digital art. So individuals are able to put their skill sets so within the education. I'll kind of, before I touch on NFT, backtrack a little bit. There's a huge social impact piece behind the project as well. So I was actually originally born in Bangladesh. It's a developing country, has population. I have other businesses, but I specifically work with children and women in regards to education, whether it's providing them within Africa and Southeast Asia. And what I wanted to do is, there's always, as we've seen, like crypto with refugees, how instantaneously you could help people. But what we wanted to do is, if you've heard of the saying, give a man a fish, he feeds for a day, but if you teach him to fish. So we wanted to I wanted to see how can we really become the disruptor of inherited poverty. And we've learned that it's via accessibility because the government doesn't have enough resources for its people. So what if we provided accessibility of resources and in a platform where it's accessibility agnostic? And so individuals are incentivized to help one another. So in the business district, whatever your skill set is, it could be like for me, business development or marketing. We have integrated live language translation of up to 60 languages currently.
Wow, that's awesome.
So voice to text, voice to voice. And the idea is you could actually help someone in Africa, in India, or anywhere around the world, in Latin America, and teach them that specific skill set. And the more they learn, they receive NFTs as certifications.
Oh, cool.
So once they're fully certified, it's borderless, and they could work for any organization, start their own business, or in the NFT marketplace, they can actually put specific, they can pick up tasks. So I'm an organization, I put out that I need this marketing work done, so they can pick up those and NFTs and mint them and be able to complete those tasks. And what we do is those specific NFTs will have, they'll be valuable. It's passed on and they can redeem it for various things. But the person teaching earns what you call karma token. So the karma token could be traded for fiat, our native token, or other utilities. It could be concert tickets, or and you could stake it, and different protocols in regards to that. So it's a way to circulate it.
No, that's really cool. And I love, because like, obviously NFTs right now, when you talk to most people, NFTs, it's JPEGs, right? It's pictures of monkeys. And that's like, that's all people think about it. But I mean, with where the ecosystem is going, there's so much more utility in the entire NFT plan. And I love that you would like incentivize and then give someone a certificate saying, all right, they've taken this course, they've proven that they can handle this specific task or this career or whatever. Now, my question on that is that something that they could then resell? Because like, obviously we've all had probably that same issue where, you go on Fiverr and you're like, all right, I need like a design, a logo, whatever it is. And you get it back and you're like, what is this, man? Like my nephew with MS Paint could have done this. Like, so, I mean, obviously, sometimes you get tricked into a portfolio that's not actually created by somebody. But if you could prove it with this NFT, then like, okay, I'm actually working with someone that has the skills or the talents that I need, unless it's resellable on the secondary market, right? Because then, I could mint this NFT because I've taken the course, and now it's not really interesting to me anymore. So I can sell that to somebody and they'll buy it, and then somebody might get hosed because they didn't actually take the course. Is that even possible or no?
No. So the certifications in itself, you can't resell.
Okay,
what
great.
You can do, yeah. So it just proves, because here's another area that we've been looking into is the entire recruitment industry in general with remote work. So when you think about a lot of the larger tech company, most of the work is outsourced. So now you have that transparency that you can't just put on your resume, oh yeah, I've worked for Microsoft, or I've worked for this startup, even though they shut down, they closed down, but I was a CFO there. And there isn't really sometimes a way to prove it, or you do the background check and all of that. So with the certification, everything becomes transparent, where you've worked, what you've done, what you're certified in, all of these other certification. It could be operational certification too,
right?
Processes. So it becomes very transparent. And in addition to that, if you're certified, let's say in marketing or software development, the more work that you're creating goes under that certification as almost an umbrella. So now the consumer is able to connect, very similar to what Coinbase is launching, where you'll be able to comment on it, put stars on it, rate an individual. And they're also able to level up and have accessibility to several utilities within our platform, where their users, their followers are able to redeem it for certain valuable things. So it encourages people to come back to the platform and purchase from this individual.
That's probably, as far as, Web3 and getting people to come onto the platform and keep coming back is probably one of the most important things. I like that idea. And adding the social aspect to it, I think is huge because, as we get into this Web3 and Metaverse, world and, kind of not forgetting that, we are humans and we need to interact with each other, I think is going to be very important. So that's pretty cool. Now, with them kind of being in the Metaverse and doing that, do you see this as, hey, we're probably going to launch with Sandbox or Decentraland or like an actual platform, or is it just going to be a digital place that as long as you can connect to the internet, you can get in there? Or like, if you're in the Metaverse, can I go into see whether it's a specialist or a banking expert and say, this is the kind of like, financial, ecosystem that I want to get into. These are the investments that I want to make, and actually go sit there in a virtual environment and chat with somebody? Or is it all just kind of like what we're doing now?
No, you can actually chat with someone. So it'll be real-time rendering.
Mm-hmm.
And it
that's
will
right.
be
You're using Unreal, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So what we're creating, the entire platform in itself, we're seeing it as being agnostic to various worlds. So initially, we will be launching on Earth 2, okay. With Earth 2 being one of the most photorealistic worlds that you could versus Decentraland or Sandbox. Mm-hmm. The idea is it's more so we'll be utilizing metahumans as avatars, and we're implementing wallets to metahumans, so it's more personable and it's the person that's actually there on the other side. You're seeing what they actually look like versus just an avatar.
That to me is so important. And like, and I get it, and everybody's got their own style, but like the voxel to me it's a video game, right? And if I were to go see somebody about, financial matters or business matters or education stuff, like I don't want to either listen to someone that's a dragon or, whatever. I think, and so there's a case to be made for, okay, not everybody's comfortable with how they look. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. But, with something that's a little more photorealistic, like we as humans need to interact with humans. I don't want to interact with, like I said, an avatar of a pixelated whatever.
Exactly. And that's how we see it, because one of the other protocols that we'll implement down the road, we'll say probably in a couple of years or so, is with accessibility to healthcare. Mm-hmm. As telehealth kind of expands, imagine using mixed reality as well as virtual reality to be able to offer solutions globally. And especially with the language translation. So I'm also a co-founder of another organization called TechWays XR, mm-hmm. And with my other co-founder. So we started this brand as an extension to that. And we have been in the industry with mixed reality and virtual reality solutions in healthcare, education, as well as government contracting. So that's where we took a lot of our solution and have implemented it. Because when you look at like even NFTs, it has been in the industry for quite some time when it comes to crypto tracking and IoT, especially in industrial as well as pharmaceutical. So it's taking that same solution and combining it with a NFT and where it keeps the records as well as something tangible for each task or each project, right? So that's where we took the solution, because in healthcare, it already exists. Telehealth already exists. So imagine being able to help a hospital in Africa or be able to teach another, because all of the certifications are, especially if you're a US doctor, you're technically able to get certified in most of the countries. So I think it could have a huge global impact.
That's the coolest thing, the global impact. I mean, about your program and the project and everything that you guys are doing with your platform. And I mean, think just the whole ecosystem itself. I mean, the fact that it's borderless, like it's huge. It puts us all, it has the opportunity. And I hope that, the way that these ecosystems are developed, it could put us all on the same playing level field where it's just never been seen before, at least in modern times, I suppose.
Absolutely. And that's where so we actually just signed an MOU with an organization that's part of the Sustainable Development 2030 project.
Hmm.
And it's the development of smart cities that you'll see coming up within the next 10 years in various parts of the world. And it's so we are looking at developing a bridge between the virtual, we are the bridge between the virtual world and the real world.
Nice.
So it's creating that specific smart city in a digital version and connecting it all into that ecosystem. It powers itself.
What are some of the coolest what are some of the coolest things you're going to see coming out of smart cities?
That entire digital ecosystem live in action. I think that is just insanely cool, especially now that you have so many organizations looking at how their social impact department or the amount of funding that goes into social impact can actually generate revenue, but at the same time help individuals.
Yeah.
I think people always think about it as charity, but there is a way to do charity without having to pay anything out of pocket. It's empowering people to be able to provide for themselves. And it's that same concept. Businesses are going to go in and they're going to empower individuals to be able to work for their organizations by teaching them skill sets.
Yeah, that's really cool. One of the things and having, businesses really embrace this new way of doing everything, I would say that it's probably the one good thing that came out of this entire situation that we've been in for the last several years. If we didn't think that we could live in the metaverse, like we know now, because we all basically did for about a year and a half.
Yeah, I lived off of Zoom, so I still do.
Absolutely.
So,
It's the new way. Like besides, some people here actually in our office and at the studio, and they're all Zoom meetings. We use a couple different programs, whether it's, Google Meet or vMix or Zoom. That's all that it is. That's how people get together now.
yeah. And imagine the number of projects that are going to come out and say, I made it out of my bedroom, or
Right.
Well, I joke about it all the time. I was like, how did we get this far out of a bedroom that I converted into an office? Because multiple people in the household uses offices.
Yeah. It's good for, it's good for a lot of things. It's good for smaller businesses that, you can reduce your overhead right at the beginning, because everything's virtual. You're like, okay, I can get you internet connection and a background and a camera and you're good to go. You don't need to rent a couple $1,000 a month office space, furnish it, start filling it up with employees and everything. So I'm really excited about where it's going. I love the idea of you guys' platform and how you're really going to work it into, not just, when you think, MBD Financial, I think originally the concept was to be that DeFi bank in the metaverse, but it sounds like you're doing so much more, and it's really exciting to see where it's all going to go.
Yeah, it's beyond banking, because banking is just one part of it. I always say you're married to your bank, because when I think about it, I started banking with Bank of America when I first was able to get a bank account. And I'm 26 years from now, and I'm still banking with them, because every time you think about switching banks, you're like, I don't even know what comes out of it, right?
Yeah, I don't want to do any of that. Like, it's like when it's almost the same when you get a debit card replaced, and then all of a sudden it's just like your Netflix stops working. You're like, what's going on here? And they're like, oh, that's right.
Exactly. So the way I see it, they're only going to offer certain solutions that that's within their business ecosystem, right? So you're not going to get solutions that Chase offers or Wells Fargo or HSBC. So the idea is for individuals, each individual, depending on where they are in their financial life cycles, how I call it, because it powers your entire way you live, where you live, and the way your family lives, and all of it. So it's giving individuals that choice where and it won't just be our solutions. Our goal is to integrate other projects or other platforms, whether it even requires a traditional bank like JP Morgan or HSBC having a location there to leverage. The idea is to make it decentralized, where individuals can choose the solutions a la carte or have it as a package, and that fits best for their ecosystem, their financial ecosystem, learn about it, and be able to, it's almost like one of those where, well, next month, if you don't like one of the services, you can cancel it or switch it over. Yeah. There's plenty. So it's a financial marketplace is the right word.
All right. I know we're probably running close to the end of the time here, but I've got one question for you.
Yes.
All right. So it's very DeFi, crypto, blockchain, Web3, Metaverse specific. What is the plan to pull people in that might not know anything about it? Maybe they're a little curious, but to get kind of that audience that isn't as familiar with, say, you and I are, and maybe some of the people listening to this, with this whole blockchain, crypto ecosystem.
Of course. So we are currently as bootstrapping and with each deliverable, it's been completely self-funded. We have several deliverables. We're actually going to be launching in a week and a half on Bitroot on the exchange. So we have an amazing advisory team from Fortune 100 companies to an individual from the UN. So the goal of the project is to get the word out there and people supporting the project, whether it's networking or, again, this will be a long-term project. It's not a short buy, trade, sell immediately and just for the small revenue. The longer you hold and the longer you're able to wait and be part of the project, the returns and even the social impact from just participating is huge.
Cool. Well, if somebody has a question or if they want to get involved, whether it's, to help build or to just be a part of the whole solution and platform, where can people find you or where can people go so they can, get linked up with y'all?
Of course. Our website is mbdfinancials.com. My email is may@metabankdefi.com. We're still switching that domain over. And the info@metabankdefi.com. Once you go to the website, my information's there. You can even click on my LinkedIn, connect with me there. I'm on Telegram. All of our social media platforms are there as well, where you can connect with us directly. And I answer, if it's me, it's not someone else answering, I directly answer all of the messages.
I know you and I have been emailing back and forth, so I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, May. This has been a great conversation. Loved learning more about what you guys are doing. And maybe we'll check back in with you in the future and see how things are going.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you. I appreciate you.